Hello, my loves. Today I have Maren Swenson on the podcast. She is so beautiful inside and out. I can't wait to have you listen in on this conversation. I feel like you already know her because I was on her podcast and I shared the episode. So hopefully you listened to that because it was a really good conversation. We have so much in common. I feel like every time we talk or every
Mhm.
time you post something, I'm like, oh, same girl, same.
Yes. Yep.
So, yes, without further ado, this is Miss Maren Swenson.
Hello. So happy to be here.
So happy to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah. And I do want to give a shout out to that episode on my podcast because I had so much good feedback from it.
Good.
Because you're such a cool person. And everyone really connected with your story. And it was really fun to, I mean, you do vibe really well together because, like you said, we have so much in common and you're so cool.
Oh, same to you. Same to you. It's funny. Thinking back to when I first met you, it's like, oh, you just feel like there's a connection there and trusting in that. And then you find out that there's just way more than you ever even guessed there would be. So, so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Oh boy. I'm Maren. I am 38 years old and I'm a wife and a mom of 6 kids, 3 step and 3 of my own. I am a coach. I love helping women find freedom and confidence and self-love and then expressing that all on the outside as well. So I'm a life coach, but I'm also a style coach. And I'm really gotten into recently developing my sensuality coaching. I love like helping women really connect to their personal power and find pleasure in all areas of life, and feeling that on the inside and expressing that on the outside. So it's all connected for me. Yeah, and I have a podcast too, and I have courses and things like that. But my favorite really is to just connect with other women, especially all people, but women especially.
Yeah.
And help them feel uh in love with themselves like they deserve to and should be.
Mm, yes.
Yeah.
So, I just saw your post today and I wish, I mean, we can share it obviously too, but what I love about you is that you share these amazing videos of your gorgeous outfits and you
Oh,
can tell you feel so damn good in them and all of your it's all just right on. I'll just read what you've got here.
yeah.
She used to second guess everything she wore. Now she wears lingerie just for her, rocks red lipstick on a random Tuesday, doesn't crop the belly out of the photo. It isn't just about clothes, it's about coming home to yourself, wearing what turns you on, and letting your outside reflect your soul.
Mm.
Girl,
Yeah. That's it. That actually just sums up my whole mission in life.
well, it's so perfect. It's so perfect.
Yeah, and it's funny, I do post a lot of stuff with me, like, really dressed up because that's my sole expression is to be fancy and bold and really stand out, but not every day. There's lots of times where, I just really wanna feel, like, grounded and cozy, but I also still need to feel feminine and beautiful, so I'm still mindful of, like, bathing and keeping myself up, and then the clothing is second, right? It's what I'm feeling like every day, but, I really do feel a huge difference, like I told you before we hit record, that when I put something on, it really does elevate me, or it can do the opposite, right? If I put on something grungy, then it will diminish me. But that post in particular, is a dress I got. It's not like I spent like 15 bucks on it.
Really?
I got it from Shein and it's so comfortable. I know it's gorgeous. It looks really high end.
It does.
So comfortable. And I wore it out with my husband on a day. We like went to a rooftop restaurant and had dinner. And then we went to this really fun restaurant bar dance club and danced all night long. And we had the most amazing time. And I really did walk around feeling like the belle of the ball.
I imagine
Um,
you are most everywhere you go.
I mean, whether I am or not, I feel like it, and I certainly am to my husband because he's more turned on the more I'm turned on by myself. So, and I mean turn on just in the general sense, like I'm turned on by life, like just loving everything about me, being so excited to be there. And I notice So you can stop me if I'm rambling, but my husband and I, when we go out, back in my previous life, I never went to restaurants or bars or clubs like that because I got married when I was 19. I was very, very conservative, very religious, and I was like doing the churchy wife thing. And I had never even been to a bar because we had a whole thing about no alcohol and it was considered sinful and not the place you should be. Like there was so much.
Wow.
And it's only been in the last few years as I really stepped into who I am and loved and celebrated every aspect of myself where I've even gone with girlfriends or my husband out to really fun places like that and danced and felt so good dancing and all of that. And I'm nearly 40 years old, right? I've had 3 babies. My stomach is flat because I've had surgery, but still have stretch marks and scars and cellulite and and gray hair and all this stuff. And I walk into those places at 40, nearly 40 years old, and I feel so amazing and so much more confident and so much more secure than I ever did when I was 16 and in perfect teenage shape. So much better than I did at 20, so much better than I did at 30, so much better than I did at 35. Like it has nothing to do with my age or even my appearance. It's because I've done so much inner work and so much healing and pushed every boundary I can trying to get in touch with myself and love her that now I feel so free and I feel so expressed and then it translates into my clothing, but it's really about what's happening in my heart. But it was a long road to get there. And I still have more growth to do, but I'm a markedly different person than I was even 1 year ago, you know?
Yeah. I feel like, well, first of all, let's just take a moment to soak up everything you just said because it like hit me right here so hard because it's so true. Everything, you have a very good way of with words. And I love that you recognize that your feeling, your confidence has nothing to do with your outside appearance. It's really all the inner work. Even though you are gorgeous on the outside,
Mm, thank you.
you have amazing energy because of all of the work that you've done on the inside. So, what a great message for everyone to be hearing. And I kept thinking about how I would love to have like high school girls hear this message.
Oh gosh, don't you just look I mean, I don't know what your high school life was like, but I look back at my high school experience. It was the most insecure time of my whole life. And I again find that funny because I was like, 17 years old, like I was a knockout.
Yes.
I mean, I look back at pictures, I'm like, wow, but I can tell even in the pictures, I'm not glowing the way I do now because I was so like worried about who would think what and I was so nitpicky about everything and would spend so much time getting ready and still never feeling good and still felt out of place and still. So it's funny to me when people, I don't tell me if, does that resonate with like what your high school experience was like?
100%.
Isn't that so crazy? And have people said to you, because they've said to me, like, when we talk about it now, they'll be like, "What? I thought you were so confident in high school and you just always appeared like you had it all put together and blah, blah, blah." And I was like, no. Isn't it funny how it seems like that? And really I was just unhappy. I mean, I was okay, but I wasn't happy,
Yep.
you know? Yeah.
Same. 100%. I would not go to events. Like I remember a specific wedding. I should have been there. I had a
Mhm.
meltdown because I didn't like anything that I had to wear and I like made myself sick.
That's so common. The amount of time like, I actually skipped a wedding because
Did you?
it wasn't specifically about my outfit, but it was just because I generally felt so insecure. Like, this was when I was young 20s. I'd been married for a while. I was lonely. I didn't really have any friends anymore. I mean, I was 19 years old when I got married. Like that, I was a sophomore in college.
Wow.
And me and my husband were not like we had some problems and I just really sunk into kind of like a surviving depression certainly for the first few years of my marriage. I gained a bunch of weight because I was so unhappy. And I just felt so like uncomfortable with myself that it really made me shrink from keeping friendships because I had girlfriends that had been my friends, but like they were still single and doing stuff. And this was one of my very good friends who had was getting married, and I had really let my relationship with her tank because I like was so embarrassed. And I didn't know it at the time what was happening, but I can look back
Right.
now and see it. But that's something that I notice is common uh with lots of women, and we let, because we don't feel good about ourselves, we really do let that keep us from enjoying so many opportunities. Like I think about all the relationships we miss out on, all the fun we can miss out on. Like I know I had a friend in college who, there were four of us girls, me and my roommate and my roommate's best friend from home and her roommate, and like wonderful girls. I'm still friends with them today, and the three of us were like trim and pretty confident as far as like our style and that kind of stuff. And then one of the girls, in my opinion, equally beautiful, but she was very, very conscious, self conscious of her weight. And because of that, it stopped her from doing stuff like we would all go out with our friends and go hot tubbing at night in the wintertime. And she would sit on the side of the hot tub and just put her feet in because she was too embarrassed to put on a bathing suit in front of the guys. And I just, and like, it did break my heart, right? I didn't even realize that at the time until I think maybe she like embarrassedly admitted it to us, and that made me feel so bad and sad, but that's common, like,
Yep.
all the vacations you don't go on, all the water parks you don't go to, all the and then you get older and you have babies and your stomach gets stretched out to look like insanity. You know, like, I've got stretch marks on my thighs and like, everywhere, it's just everywhere, but, and I used to be so self-conscious of that, and it is sad. But it's also changeable. So
Yeah.
there's the silver lining, right? It doesn't have to be that way. We can change at any moment and then love our life, you know?
Yeah. And I love that you help women through style change, how many life coaches say they're also a style coach? Do you call yourself a style coach? I can't remember your word.
Yeah, I usually say life and fashion,
That's
or yeah, or life. If I say life and style, sometimes it gets confused. They think it's lifestyle coach, and I don't even know what that would mean. Life and style and sensuality coach. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. I need a more succinct name for it, I guess, but mm.
Well, if you're like me, you probably change it every few days or
I
weeks.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes it changes on who I'm speaking to because I can tell what they need.
Mm,
Some women are like, they've done a lot of inner work and they're ready for the next level with style, but they like can't figure it out.
mhm.
So that's a one kind of client, and then there's another client who needs a lot more help with their inner work, and they also want the style aspect too. So we spend more time inside.
Yep.
And yeah, so just all over the place, but, I also love that, like, you're also very equally, like, put together and stylish and very well kept and equally beautiful and gorgeous. Um, and I used to feel a lot of people would, like, judge me for it. Did like, when I was growing up, okay, right? So it'd be like, you couldn't be pretty and deep. You couldn't be stylish and smart. You couldn't be ultra feminine looking and sexy and have depth to you. And, or you were just boy crazy, or you were just vain, or you were just shallow. And like, I was told that so many times growing up. Um, and we have this weird thing in our culture where it's like, it's so funny because we're so obsessed with yoga and exercising and supplements and the food we eat and even skincare. But if you tell someone that she should spend as much time thinking about what clothes she's going to wear, then it's like, oh, that's not okay. You're too vain. Right? Like we have a thing about it. Like women can't justify the money they spend on their clothing, but they can on everything else. They can justify it on all the activities they put their kids in and even vacations. But if you tell them, you can have, or, then it's like, oh, there's a stigma around loving. It's really around loving yourself too much and being beautiful. That's
I
what
was
it is.
gonna say, I feel like, yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. I feel like women have a hard time justifying spending the money on themselves just in general.
Yeah.
Anything.
In general, for sure.
They can drive all over the country for kids' sports or activities and invest all kinds of time and money. But
Yep.
then when it comes to doing a little thing for themselves, it's like there's so much hesitation. And then most of the time they don't even hit go.
Yeah. I see it all the time, especially like in the culture that surrounds me. where I live, it's very pretty patriarchal, and it's very based in, the woman's job is to care for everyone else and support everyone else. And I see so many women feeling like they just can't possibly get away. Like even if they want to go like out for a night, like oh, but they're the ones who are responsible for finding a babysitter, and will their husband be okay if they're out this long, and can he handle the kids, and all the dialogue that gets thrown our way. And
Yeah.
men just don't ever think about that. It's just assumed that the
Yep.
other person will the woman will have it all together. Not every relationship is like that, but I've seen it happen a lot. It can be very common. But it's been so many years of patriarchy and so many years of repression for women that it's really just we're just waking up now and rewriting the script, and I love that for us, and I love it for men too. We need the balance back for
Yeah.
everyone.
They're more powerful when we are in our power, I feel like. So it's
Absolutely.
beneficial for everyone, the family unit as a whole. If
Mhm.
we are in alignment and living with within our own alignment, our own values, then we can, radiate our energy, and it's a ripple effect with everyone in our family, our community, and eventually, the world, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I always feel like what's the saying? You can't control anyone else, just yourself. And so if that's the case, which it is, then we better be damn good controlling ourselves and loving every part of it so that we can osmose it to
Yeah.
the people around us. I don't know what the right verbiage for that is, but
Yeah. No, I got you. Um, yeah, back to what you said about um stigma. I had something that came up. I remember you said women can't be beautiful and
hmm
successful or have depth to them. I
hmm
remember I had a friend, a very close friend, who said, "Yeah, don't you just want to hate her because she's so pretty, but she's so nice." It's like, at first I was kind of mad because, like, what?
Yeah.
But it's really a sad thing. Why can't we just recognize that you can have both?
Yeah. It's funny that, yeah, I am the older I've gotten and the happier I've gotten, the more women I seem to be polarizing, right? It's like, mm, you kinda can't stay in the neutrality space that it's like doesn't exist anymore, and it's kind of like an opportunity to really level yourself up, like, can you be okay with people not liking you for no reason or not seeing you and making such crazy judgments? I've, like, had some hurtful conversations and things said about me from people who I feel like should have my back, but don't. Obviously, there's going to be like trolls everywhere. It's easy for me. It's easy to dismiss like what strangers say. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But when it's people then it can be hurtful. But I remember being in middle school and like there were, like, certain girls who I was never mean to outwardly, like, I wasn't ever that type of person, but I would just inwardly, like, have opinions, right, or judgments about people,
Mhm.
and because I was so insecure, I remember, like, maybe 2 or 3 specific girls who I just obviously thought were beautiful, and to me, they appeared to have it all and be really happy, and I was just jealous and insecure, and I would spend time, like, trying to pick out things about them that I didn't like to, like, make myself feel better. Like, in my head, it'd be like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, uh, she has big calves," or something stubborn. Like, so dumb.
Mhm.
And I noticed I was doing that, like, when I got into high school, and I was more confident in high school than I was in middle school, thankfully. Um, and I was like, that's shitty behavior and not helpful, and it doesn't make me feel very good." So I cut that out, and then I've noticed as I've gotten older, sometimes the other women, I'll notice them do that too. Like,
Mm.
the need to find a hole in someone so that they
Right.
can feel better about themselves. And I'm always like, "Ah, sitting in that kind of negativity, like, it feels good for just a second, just the barest second, and then it's being all back in that, like, sadness and that you're, like, ruminating in those emotions versus the thought of, 'Wow, she's so pretty.'" That's like, if you just say it, it it's so nice feeling,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's so different. I do wish we could all get to that point, but it's coming. I feel like we're on our way.
We are, we are. There's a big shift, big paradigm shift happening, and,
Mm,
as far as judgment goes, it's so easy to fall into to the pattern of judgment. I mean, I catch myself and it's like, why where did that even where did that even come from? Why do I why do I think those thoughts? How does that happen? But I think we all get to a point where you start noticing it. At least I hope you get to a point where you start
Yeah, you
noticing it
can
so you
become
can
aware
stop
of it.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. I think the point there is, like, it's okay to have the thought and feeling and then recognize it and then be introspective like you, like, "Why am I thinking this?" Or, "Why am I triggered by this? What's actually happening inside me that's making me feel this way?" And then it actually becomes very helpful.
right.
You're
Yeah.
willing to, like, dive into it, release the shame around feeling it in the first place, and, like, be willing to work on it and heal it, then it's amazing, but we get stuck.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah. Awareness is an unlock. And then yeah. Well, I lost my train of thought. Awareness and then choosing to feel or to not fall into
Yeah.
the trap,
Yeah, the
seeing our
willingness to
thoughts
change it. Yeah.
yeah, seeing our thoughts as passing clouds. That's not
Yeah.
what I wanted to say, but now I love that's I have to come back to that.
It
It'll come
makes sense
back.
to me.
Yeah. It'll come back at like 2 a.m.
And yeah.
and I'm awake with baby.
Yeah.
Um, so our people don't know where you live. You are in Utah.
Oh, yeah, I'm in Utah. I'm, like, an hour south of Salt Lake. Kind of a sleepy little town I'm in, but close to lots of other towns and cities. So, yeah.
It looks beautiful, all of your pictures, and it doesn't look like a little small town from what I see on your
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I'm taking, like, pictures of me really dressed up, I'm usually out, like, at restaurants or out on the town or up in Salt Lake doing something or at concerts. We love to go to concerts a lot. Although I dress up no matter where I'm going if I feel like it. So even if I'm, like, at Cafe Rio, do you have like a fast casual restaurant? I still just like to be just I just like to feel good.
Yeah. Well, even so I work from home, as you know, and
Mhm.
even just putting my makeup on, um, and, like, just some clothes that I don't mind being seen in, getting out of my pajamas every day,
Yep.
key, that changes my mood, so much, and I can't wait to get my body back 100%, and then I can wear all of my favorite clothes.
Yeah, feeling back
Oh,
to
yeah.
like you're totally recovered and healed, yeah. Um, I love that you brought up that you work from home because I work from home too, and a lot of us in this space do, especially since COVID, like, I don't even know the statistics on that and how many people do work from home these days, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
And that's one of the common stories or beliefs that women will say to me. They'll be like, oh, and as in, this is their reason why they're not interested in style or it's not for them, or they're like dismissing it is that they have nowhere to wear anything. They'll say,
Mhm.
it's not worth my time. I don't go anywhere. Who's going to see me? And
It's
I'm like,
sad.
it is. And I get it because we love the attention. We love to be seen.
Yep.
But like you and I know style and taking care of yourself, you don't do it for other people. You do it for yourself first, and then you can share all that radiance with other people. And that's like a really common limiting belief or story that women will tell themselves is where am I like someone said to me once, she's like, well, where am I going to wear something like that to shopping at TJ Maxx? And I was like, yeah, where am I shopping at TJ Maxx? Like, wear it on a walk around your neighborhood and see how different you feel versus walking in those sweatpants you've been wearing for 3 days, right? It will make a difference. So I yeah, especially if you're having a baby and your body's already like, ooh, such a shock to the system. It is. It's like even more important then that you take the time. Not that you have to be so dressed up all the time, but like I remember after having my first baby, there would be some days where I wouldn't even brush my teeth until like noon. And
Yeah.
because it was just like those first few months, like I was just entrenched in being at home and I was covered in spit up all the time and I was tired. And again, I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't going to see anyone. And I look back at, I didn't feel very good back then. And I think I could have improved my mental health if I had put myself first and made my care a priority. And again, not dressed or taking care of myself for other people, but really just for me. That was a lesson I had to learn after that first baby.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought up mental health and working from home because I feel like that could help a lot of people who are maybe struggling with some mental health issues right now. What are you
Yeah.
doing every day to take care of yourself and to show up for yourself? And it's not about
Yeah.
everybody else, it's about you.
Are you? Yeah. I know that it can be really lonely working from home. It can feel so isolating.
Mhm.
Um, but the better you feel about yourself, the more likely you are to like connect with people, even if it is virtually. And I think that's very fulfilling. I mean, I spend most of my day talking virtually to people,
Yep,
and
me
I
too.
feel like, wow, I have a lot of friends,
Yeah.
even though many of them don't live anywhere near me.
Yep,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that you do that I wanna know more about is your style edits.
Mm.
Tell us about what that entails.
Yeah. So I was doing those when I was getting my feet wet with my coaching and like really honing my skill set. I was very resistant to stepping into style because of what I told you. I like had all these hangups for my whole life that it was like vain and shallow and I felt like no one's going to take me seriously. And also because it was very intuitive to me and natural, everyone kept saying, "I really just want you to style me. I really just want you to style me." And I was like, "Okay, but no, you don't." Because I've gone out with friends in the past who've said that, and I've taken them shopping, and I've picked out things that, in my opinion, look wonderful on them, fit their body type. I think that they would do well in, and they're very uncomfortable and don't want it. And I realized it was because they were missing the inner work piece. So no matter what I put on them, they weren't going to feel good in it, no matter what. And I also realized that while they thought they were saying, I want to look really cute and I want to look like you, what they were really saying was, I want to feel really, really cute and I want to feel in my own body the way that you appear to feel in your body. So it was really about energy, right? And feeling because my style is very unique and very different than I would say most other people, certainly around where I live. Um, and and it and that's the whole premise of my platform is finding out what works for you and not shoving you into a type or rules or like not letting someone else tell you what you should wear to look good because looking good to me is about feeling good first. So I was resistant to stepping into that because I didn't understand all of that and I was like kind of turned off from the style thing because of those past experiences and then once enough people said it, and that's what I kept getting feedback on. I was like, huh, well, how do I do this? Why is it that people are drawn to what I wear, even though I know they don't want to wear it, but I still get lots of compliments and feedback? And so it took me a while to dismantle all that and like really get into my process. And that's what I was doing with the style edit sessions. They were like 90-minute coaching sessions where I'd sit down with someone, kind of figure out it was like a basic session, right? Like almost an introduction. So we'd get to what are your blocks? Why do you feel so disconnected from your clothing? What do you want to feel like? And then would lead them, we'd do some inner work and then we'd go through these outer work pieces. Like I'd help them come up with or figure out what they liked as far as colors and hemlines and necklines and all those actual traditional aspects of styling, but in a way that made them feel like they got to choose it and it wasn't because someone else was telling them what was good. Since then, I've really developed my framework and now offer like 6-month containers, 3-month containers, year containers for people who are really ready to like have real lasting results. There's only so much you can do in 90 minutes with someone. Like
Yeah.
it's always going to help and it's going to boost, but like you have it transformation and change and self-love takes time and it takes support and it takes practice and habits and just time. So, now I have a framework called soul-led style, letting your soul lead the way for your style. And that's what I love to do with people. It's a blend of holistic life coaching and then with the style aspect. And yeah, every client is different and every person is different based on what their needs are and what they're working on. And sometimes it's really style focused and sometimes it's really like limiting beliefs and inner work and healing from traumas and that kind of thing focus. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I do. I still offer that you can still purchase a style edit session from me and meet with me. And I love doing them. I love to get to know people. But if you want real real results, you have to invest the time and the money
Yeah.
into working with someone for that.
And
Yeah.
then they have you as an accountability partner, somebody
Mhm.
to hold their feet to the fire. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and, I'm a big believer in coaches and coaching. I have my own coach, I have a business coach, and I have, like, a personal coach, to help, and it's like therapy, but so much better.
I agree. Oh my gosh. I've done it so many times. And I feel bad because it's kind of like I'm not bashing therapists. I think they are important. That is,
Course.
I saw a therapist when I first started my journey, but
Yep.
real results came from coaching, from coaches, from
Yeah.
the containers that I was in and with the people that I was in them with.
Absolutely, yeah, therapy has been huge for me. It helped me through very specific things, and then as I've gotten into coaching and found the right people to coach me, the change and transformation for me has been, like, astronomical because I found the right person and someone who is with me, like, so personally invested in my life every week and really does a lot of healing. I'm very spiritual, I'm very, into the woo. So I do a lot of, like, so much inner spiritual work and healing, and that's been really helpful for me. So yeah, I just believe because you need community and you need support and just even having the space to talk to someone and do it in a setting where you know they're not gonna judge you, and they're here to help you, and they're also here to tell you, like, to get your butt moving, that's really it's really special. So I will always have my own coach, and I hope to always be helping other people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, awesome. Um, the one that you lead now, is that you said it's a group, right?
My coaching?
Yes.
I do one-on-ones.
Okay.
I would love to have a group, but as a one-woman show, I'm like one thing at a time.
Yeah, get the
But
team.
yeah. Yeah, when I'm a part of some coaching things where even though we're one-on-one with the coach, she has like a community Voxer group or something where we kind of can all weigh in on. And I'd love to do something like that, but right now it's just one-on-ones. Although I do offer things like live workshops sometimes or events, or I am actually hosting oh, I'm going to tell you about this. I'm hosting a virtual retreat in June, end of June, and it's called She Comes First. Own your pleasure, take up space, light the damn room on fire.
Oh,
It's all about pleasure in the broadest sense, like, and really honing in on our creative, sacred power, and loving ourselves and our bodies and taking the stigma and the shame from sex and women and pleasure and all of that off. We're encouraging everyone to come dressed in their most beautiful lingerie that makes them feel amazing. And we're doing like workshops that are some are sex specific, but most are I'm leading one through about style and I'm leading one about just self pleasure, whatever form that looks like for you. We have panels of women talking about like navigating sexuality and sensuality through life changes, like health uh, things, family changes, becoming a mom, work life balance, all that stuff. And I'm hosting it with two other really cool women who are one's a relationship coach and one is a astrology and business coach. So it's like
oh,
so fun.
yeah.
Yeah, so I do things like that, and that's a really great place for community and helping women come together. I always feel like the biggest thing for me this last year, and I don't know if this has been the case because you and I met in Kathy's community, and like I know you've made a lot of friends through there, and I have too. And it was becoming like I took a course from Kathy, a live course,
Yep.
and while the curriculum and the information from her was very helpful, that's not what the value in it was for me actually, and I didn't know it at the time. But afterwards, it was being around other women who were like all invested and wanting to feel the same way, right? We were all kind of grounded in the same line of thought. We all wanted more out of life. We all wanted to love each other and ourselves. And that's actually what helped me even realize what I was good at and gave me confidence and wings to fly because it got me out of my sleepy little community here, where I'm still friends with lots of people and I have wonderful neighbors and a great community, but you have to be intentional about relationships and really finding those people who really can see all of you and will inspire you. And I have found that through people here, but a lot of it's come through people who I've met in spaces like this.
Yes, I agree
Yeah.
100.
And that's actually been the biggest point of change for me, more than any of the other stuff I've done, was having shared community to inspire me and give me a space to grow.
Yeah, and those live events, I mean, you get put into breakout rooms and the community on Facebook and things, those are really good, but
Yeah,
the live events
alive.
are
Oh, yeah.
I say that you get cracked open, and I really feel like that's what happens. It's like your chest is cracked open, you are coming out of your shell, and you're a totally different person. I don't know about you, but I just felt like we were all glowing and on cloud
Totally.
nine the whole time.
Totally.
And
Yeah. It takes so much courage to go to things like that. Like, it can be, like, socially anxiety inducing to even be on a virtual thing with strangers and have to be in a breakout room and talk to someone face to face.
yeah,
And, like, when I went to that retreat where I met you, that Kathy's retreat, I went alone. Like, I was just like, "Well, someone on Facebook said she had an Airbnb I could jump in on, so I'm gonna do that." And then I
I
ended
give
up
you so
making
much
such
credit for that.
right, it was scary, and every one of us who were in that Airbnb, there were, like, 8 of us, none of us knew each other. We were all just strangers who came together, and it all worked out, and now I'm really good friends with those women. But I think back, like, that takes a measure of self-investment to be brave enough to, like, put that anxiety aside and ditch your
Vulnerability.
reasons. It is vulnerability, and you and I were in the same life, uh oh my hell, what's that word?
Oh,
Like, phase of life.
yeah,
Right, we're both moms and working and all the stuff, and the older you get and the more responsibilities you have, the easier it is to say, "I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it." Right? Money, time, family, other people's needs, is it worth this? You could talk yourself out of it for days.
for sure.
It's a lot for a woman to say, "I'm gonna take a week off from my family and go on this retreat and spend all this money so that I can go have fun with women."
Yeah, I know.
Not the
Which is really the best investment.
It is.
I,
Mhm.
so that was my 3rd retreat. So the first one I went by myself, and I was a totally different person at that one. I didn't go out to dinner with anybody. I was just, like, beelined it back to my hotel after the day was done because I was just so it was like drinking from a fire hose, you're just like
Yeah, overwhelming.
yeah. But it was not that I had a bad experience, I had an amazing experience, but it was just a lot for me and
Yeah.
like,
One thing at a time.
yeah, changing my nervous system setting to, A, feel good for that long and
Mm,
allow myself to, like, be that vulnerable for that long and
yeah.
sit with the discomfort and walk into a room. That first retreat I went to, there was a lot more people, I feel like, at that one. It was really big and very
Yeah,
intimidating,
that is intimidating, yeah.
especially for
Yeah,
who I was at that time.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, the one that I went was, where I met you, I went with a friend, and I was a I was like 7 versions of myself
Yeah,
from the first time,
yeah.
but it was
It's hard for me to imagine you not that way because when I met you, you were just you're so confident and happy and, like, chill and cool. Yeah, I know it. I think that every good thing that's really come to me is because I took a chance on being alone like that.
mm,
Um, that's how I've made my best friends, were from going to events by myself and, like, choosing to engage and talk to people and not stay in the comfort of, like, just my little circle and my little buddies. Um, and uh, I used to, like, think about women who would, like, go eat out to eat alone or go see a movie alone or travel alone, and I would be like, and now I'm like, "Oh, I see it. I love it."
yeah.
Yeah. It's very empowering to
Yes.
if you're willing to just sit like I loved how you said sit in the discomfort, and you also said, "Let myself feel that good for that long." Ooh, I have you read The Big Leap?
Yes.
Okay,
So,
that's
so good.
yes, what is that? It's by, Gay
Mhm.
Hendricks?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, that stuck with me too. And that's what that reminded me of, because that's this whole premise is like, are you willing to let life be good?
Yeah.
Decide to blow it up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking
Yeah.
a
That.
leap when you are scared to death.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So good.
Right.
What did I post today? It was something about scary or change can be scary, but staying in the same place is scarier. And I
Yeah.
really feel like that is so true for me. That helps me stay motivated because it is so tempting to, well, it's a lot easier to not be vulnerable on social media or hit record and have your
Mhm.
face. Like, I don't know about you, but I didn't even know I wanted a podcast. And
Oh, I didn't.
all of a sudden I have a podcast and like
Yeah.
that has healed so many parts of myself just being visible.
Me too, because it's a platform to use your voice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. I started my podcast before I had any business and before I knew what I wanted to do. I did a past life regression hypnosis session.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we
Kind
talked
of.
about this.
Okay, yeah. Um, did we talk about it on my podcast or just as
I
friends?
think so.
Okay. All right. Well, I did that, and one of my answers to my questions of what should I do with my life was to use my voice. And then it became very apparent to me that it was going to be through a podcast. And so I just like started it and I did what I was doing and where it was going to go. And that
Same.
was the starting point for my whole business journey. It actually put me in the place I needed to be, but we did it a little backwards, I guess, then.
But I'm so grateful for it that way because I don't well, I don't know about your first episode, but my first episode and several of them afterwards, very shaky,
Mhm.
very
Oh, it
shaky.
takes a while to get in the groove and
Yeah.
hone your skills as an interviewer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say I'm awesome at it now, but I'm a lot better
I
than
think you are. I'm enjoying myself. Thank
But yeah, sitting in the discomfort of like the mediocre versions of ourselves that it takes to start something new and take a big leap. There's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And for me, starting my podcast, because it coincided at the same time that I was leaving, I had left already, but I was leaving the church that I'd been a part of my whole life that didn't align with me anymore. And because of that, the religion I was in was very, very high demand and very intense and had a lot of outward looking things that made it clear that I wasn't a member of that church anymore. Like specifically in how I dress, they had very strict rules about what you could and could not wear and what you covered. And so now, because I just wear whatever I want, between that and all my talk about loving my body and all my talk about being a badass and all the stuff, and then starting my podcast and really opening up about my past and my story, being very, very transparent about like the affair I had, like all I mean, gosh, that's a whole nother episode, but I'm so open about it. And because of that, like the people who had been really in my circle fell away from it because they would listen and then be very uncomfortable with I think it was just my vulnerability and my shamelessness that they were uncomfortable with.
It says more about them than it does you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just been really interesting. This year is like the year of the snake,
Mm,
2020
I didn't
is.
know that.
Yeah, I've gotten really into astrology lately, and it's really interesting how spot on it is for everything. But yeah, this year is the year of the snake, so it's transformation. It's like deep shedding of old stuff
Oh,
and
I
stepping
feel that.
into power. Yes, it's like we're going through it individually and as a collective. Like there's a lot of stuff happening, and I feel that very much like this is my year to like I don't want to say shed the last of my old self because we're always evolving, and I know there's more. Every time I peel back and heal one layer, I think I've got it, and then I'm like, oh shit, there's 10 more.
Yep,
Like
exactly.
it just keeps growing. Um, but it is like very much an opportunity. It's kind of like just intensified now. Like I'm really letting go of the need for relationships that don't serve me. And not that I harbor like ill will towards those people, but just like I'm not hurt about it anymore. Right. It's being willing to let go of those and find the people who be
And
with
they
you.
might come back around.
Yeah.
We are all on our own journey, and so sometimes people fall away for good, sometimes people fall away for a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, that all I 100% see the same things. Um, I think you are a human design student, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Manny Jen. That's what I am.
same. I remember that. We were at the same table, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I hear a lot of that through my human design people that I follow and coaches that I've hired. And then there's a couple people that I follow on Instagram, and everything that they say about the big transformation and the paradigm shift that's happening this year is like, wow, yeah, I really do
Wow. It's a lot.
feel it. And it's
Yeah.
not just me and it's not just you. Everybody I talk to that does this work is
Mhm.
like on the same page with it. So it's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I needed it.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it in all aspects of my life. I'm seeing it in my marriage, my relationships. I'm seeing it in my business. Like just my personal growth, as a business owner and as a coach yourself, it's a lot of vulnerability to talk to people and be like, I can help you and here's how can I help you? Like that's a lot
Yep.
to ask for sales, right? To ask to offer, make pitch offers and stuff. And I could never have been in a place where I was willing to do that if I hadn't gone through all the refiner's fire beforehand, right? And bringing it back to like the style aspect of my business, I can tell you that when I get on just like a connection call with someone, if I'm dressed in a way that I feel so amazing about myself and very confident in my skills because I've dressed the part, my energy and exchange with that person is markedly different than if I've like woken up that day, thrown on without thinking about it, jeans and a t-shirt unconsciously, which could be the aligned outfit for the day, but it's not if I'm not in tune with my body.
Right.
And then I
Intention.
hop on, like I feel like not totally myself. And this is something that brand owners and business owners sometimes miss the mark on too. I've met with, I have this one friend who's a business coach, and I have always considered her to be very, very aligned and put together and confident and soul led. And she is in many, many ways. And when I was doing a session with her, I was like, what are these clothes that you are not wearing that you'd want to wear? And so she like named a few things, and they were like pieces that made her feel really, really sexy. And I was like, why don't you wear them? And so we like got into how she's carrying all this childhood trauma and shame over the way her mom and her sister and people around her would like judge and criticize her for dressing a certain way. And I was like, okay, well, you're a business coach. And because she really wanted to like embody her brand and inspire her clients. And I was like, well, how do you want your clients to feel? So she talks me through how she wants them to feel empowered, confident, like all these amazing words. And I was like, well, okay, so if you want them to feel that way, you have to feel that way first, right? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, so are you like really, I mean, you're still helping them because you're awesome, but are you helping them to the best of your abilities? If you show up in a space where you don't feel those things because you're letting stories and whispers from the past rule your actions? And she was like, no. So anyways, we did all this really fun some spiritual work with her to help her like go back and heal those past wounds. And then she's able to show up in a way and like she's attracting more clients and she's attracting the right kind of
Of course
clients.
she
Right,
is.
right? Because it does translate to every area of your life. Like how you do one thing is kind of how you do everything, right? That saying, it's true.
Yep. I said
Sadly,
that earlier. Right.
right? True. I mean, there's always going to be some hand waving a little bit, but
Mhm.
yeah. So I'm on a tangent now. I don't remember where I started with this, but
No,
I just believe so much in loving yourself and being so like unabashed in that. And I mean that we should love if we really treated our bodies as like sacred vessels, no one would bat an eye when you said I need to adorn this in the most beautiful thing that I can afford and
yeah,
put it on and feel like a goddess every day.
our bodies are our temple,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people forget that. Instead,
Yeah.
we place a lot of shame.
Yeah, and because women have been they've like demonized women's bodies as a source of evil and that pleasure is bad and sex is bad and all the stuff. Now we're turning it all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other day, I was watching something and it was about money and
Mhm.
women. And this is wild to me. And I keep thinking about it. We were currency.
Oh, ooh.
Doesn't that just, mm,
Oh, it's just cringy. Oh, it's so
yeah.
bad.
So no
Yeah.
wonder we have like money hangups and money stories. And of
Mhm.
course, how we do one thing is, like you said, how we do everything. So if we have a
Mhm.
money story, we have a confidence, money,
Uh-huh.
confidence, self love. It's all tied in the same thing. And money, um, and power and sex is all sacral chakra.
Yes, it's
And
all the same. It's all the same. Thank you. Thank you. I'm like, man, it is, it's all the same. And we carry such weird shame, even around money too, and around all of it. Yeah, but it's all the same. It's that turn on, it's pleasure, it's abundance in every aspect.
yeah.
I love that.
And then in sex, we can't talk about sex, but it's life. That's how we are all brought into this world, but we can't talk about it. What is that?
I know. I find it very interesting that we'll let our kids watch and play video games where all they're doing is hurting other people. So much violence, and it's funny and it's okay and they love it. But if you talk about sex in front of them, like that's the worst thing ever. It's so backwards. It's so backwards. Like that we're not okay with beauty and pleasure and the creation of life, but we're totally fine with the harming of others and taking it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when you put it in that perspective, I would hope that everyone would go, yeah, that's weird. That's not right. There's a disconnect. I'm really- I would hope.
I kind of think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. The other thing I wanted to just circle back on, you talked about sharing your story about, your affair and
Mhm.
you're very transparent. And
Mhm.
I want to thank you for that. I think that is
Mhm.
very important. What is what really happens there, I think, when we tell our story, we are fully authentic and we take our power back. Instead
Mhm.
of that story ruling us, we take our power back from it.
Yeah.
And then we don't know who's listening. And maybe they have that same story and they can stop living under the power of their story.
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
That's such a great way to phrase that because I'm looking back now. I almost didn't have a choice in owning my actions because it just like we lived in a small town and it just got out and it was explosive.
Oh, yeah. Same.
So there was like, right. Okay. So there was something inside me that knew though that if I like wanted some semblance of a life and wanted to heal from it, I was going to just have to like muck through it. And then once I was on the other side, I realized like that was actually so liberating. It was so liberating to not like have it be a secret and not like be worried about who I could tell and who I couldn't tell and not worry about what they were going to think of me. And um,
If
it's
so
just
and so is talking about you.
yes,
And yeah.
like, it's so liberating, and it also taught me so much compassion for people and really, like, stripped away the judgment I had carried in my heart towards others, because got such a firsthand look at, like, you don't really ever know what is driving someone's actions and the pain and whatever is actually happening inside, and you might think you do. You could say, "Well, I had the same situation," but you didn't, right? Because 'Cause we're all different people with different backgrounds. And so it was very eye-opening and really taught me a lot of love for others and then for myself as well. And that is something that I don't know if I could have learned that another way. And I'm really actually very grateful for that lesson because it made me a nicer person and a kinder person, but really it just made me a happier person,
Yeah.
right? And that's what it's all about. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm actually very grateful to not that I don't know if I would choose to do everything the same way, but I recognize the wisdom in it now because back then, that was a long time ago now. It's been 9 years or something. And the person I was back then, I didn't have any other way to do it. I was like it was just working with that version of myself at that point, and then so I see now, like, the universe really was trying hard to get me to make some changes, and that was the only way I was gonna listen, so there
Yeah.
I went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's beautiful that you see it to be something to be grateful for.
I do now. Took me a few years. Things were really, I mean, it did blow my life up and things were really volatile and hard in a lot of ways because of it. Um, and then also there were some really great things that came out of it also in the midst of all that. And then just after, I think it made a few years and I was finally able to like heal through and release that shame over it and be okay. And now it's to the point where when I talk about my life, I'm so open about it and I forget that not everyone knows my story. It's taken me a long time to get to that point, but yeah.
Mm, yeah. Well, hopefully, if you're listening, hopefully you can recognize that whatever is happening in your life can be something that is happening for you and
Mm,
you can come through it. You know,
that's so wise.
that's
Yeah.
one of our lessons is you can take anything that's happening and turn it into something negative or positive.
Yeah.
Um, we have so much more. We're not in control, and then we are. Isn't that kind of a weird thing to say? But
Yeah. I know. Right. When you believe in all the law of attraction and manifesting, it's like we are in control to a certain point that like our conscious mind thinks we're in control, but we are definitely in control of how we react to something and how we can choose to look at it. And so
yeah,
that is 100%. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's kind of a funny balance of are we in control or are we not in control? We are.
yeah.
Yeah, but mm,
Well, I hear Miss Elsie downstairs, so
aw.
that's my cue. But
Yeah.
I'm so grateful to have you here. Thanks again for being here, and let's remind everybody where to find you.
Yeah, my website is the best place. It's just marenswenson.com. I have a few really great free resources for you, a guide that you can dress like a goddess in 90 seconds every day. I also have a wardrobe alignment assessment. It's like a 10-question quiz to see wh- ha- where you're blocked and like how aligned your wardrobe is. And I actually send you a Loom video with feedback for everyone who fills that out.
Oh,
Um, yeah,
that's
I'd love to
awesome.
connect with everyone there. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll add all of that to the show notes, and they can come find you.
Yeah, thanks, Lindsay.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.